You guys, what's up? Shadow here, and welcome back to Space Engineers. Right, we are building our giant spacecraft thingy. Which reminds me, I should probably keep a steady production of certain materials. Mainly right now, steel plates. Fucking thousands of them. You know, just in case. You know, at the beginning of the game, when I started out Space Engineers, was like, yeah, you know, making 100 steel plates, that's a lot of steel plates. And then, like, shift clicking was very useful to create 100 steel plates. And now, I'm like, yeah, I need to make like 10,000 of them, so I have to click 10 times. No, 100 times? That's annoying as fuck. Is there a way to do that better? Well, you could, like, endlessly create, I guess, but, you know. Right. Where was I? Did I think I wanted to weld this. I think. Probably. Hopefully. Let's just do it. Whatever. Don't even know if I have plates in my inventory. I'm just gonna try. Anyways. So, patch came out. And as you saw maybe on the last week's video, patch came out pretty much immediately after I stopped playing, which is nice, thank you. Today it's a bit earlier, and last week and this week, both of them minor fixes, you know. The thing is, sometimes I feel like it's really little that they do actually in fixes, you know. I think I just ran out of steel plates again. Yes, sir. Sometimes I feel like, yeah, they're not doing a lot today, just like 4 fixes today's patch. That's not a lot. But of course you have to keep 2 things in mind. One, they're not just working on these patches, obviously. And 2, it's a weekly patch. That's quite stressful. Just having 5 days to fix something. Well, if they're like hardcore devs, or like how you hear people talking when they talk about their job in the game industry, they're like probably working 6 days, maybe even 7. Who knows, right? So, yeah. But you know, I understand, because lately I've seen a lot of people again saying the game is dead, the devs never gonna really fix the game, it's an abandoned thing, and I understand, because it is, I don't want to say it's a mess, but it certainly is, yeah. I can understand how you can perceive this as an abandoned, dead game. Because since a few major updates ago, there has not been a whole lot of things they have released, especially in, like, actual block content. I mean, the last block they actually really released was the parachute block, and that was technically a mod they released, right? So I can understand that people are angry because they expect to get, like, I don't know, every few months get like 10 new blocks. That would be the dream, I guess. I really do understand, but as I said a few times before, I really think the they're pushing for an actual release is a good thing, because if you have a stable base, it's much easier to work off. At least that's what I would suspect. I mean, I'm not a game dev. I'm a programmer. Just basic programming, different languages. Don't want to go too much into detail here, but it's very good to have a stable base. So you don't have to fix and check every time you put something new in, because it breaks everything else, which is the kind of thing we have at the moment. And I guess maybe some people will say, like, yeah, but if they actually release the game, what is the incentive of actually working on it still? And I have to tell you, bear with me, this is related. I have started playing Minecraft again. You know, friends of mine set up a server, we're playing together, it's fun. I'm not the biggest Minecraft guy. I was maybe 5-6 years ago, but yeah. And that's actually the amount of time that has passed since I played Minecraft the last time. And I stopped playing because of the same reason. It was not the same, like, exact situation, because even after the game got officially released, Minecraft, they still updated it. But for me, it was when Notch basically was gone from the project and they sold it to Microsoft. That's when I was like, yeah, this game is dead. It's not gonna change. And if it is, then it's gonna cost a shit ton of money. You have to buy DLCs and loot boxes. Well, okay, maybe I wasn't saying that exactly, but you know, you get the drill. And I have to say, coming back after a few years, the game has changed. Like, not completely different, but there's new stuff in there I had to figure out. Lots of great features put in that I had no clue of. To be fair, I didn't really follow the development of Minecraft, but maybe, I'm just trying to say, maybe the same thing can happen to space engineers. I know this is maybe not what people might want, in the sense that, oh what, I got to wait like 2 or 3 years before I get new content? Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's exactly what's happening right now. You know, that they say put a cap on it and bottle it, sell it, and then once we have that finished product, we can put all our resources into this. At least that's what I hope, right? I guess that's what all people hope, that the devs of their favorite game will forever add to that game for free. Or in just like very, very cheap add-ons and stuff. Of course, that's like the dream, but hey. I mean, we have to see their side as well. They need to make some money, so there is also a chance that they will say once we finish it, we don't work on this anymore. There is the chance, of course there is. You know, maybe they'll refocus on medieval engineers. And I have to say, I have no idea what is going on in medieval engineers because I have the game. I don't play it as much. Actually, I almost never play it because it's just not the same thing. It was not as fun mucking around with catapults as it was mucking around with spaceships. Go figure. But I have no idea if a medieval engineer is developing faster or slower, the same pace. I have no idea. I mean, they said that both games would benefit each other since they're basically built in the same kind of sandbox and just with different, like, well, physics and different tool sets around it, I guess. And, you know, I'm just trying to say, I hope that going for the next release, the next big release, will prompt a new wave of bigger updates after that. But of course, we don't know. We will never know until we wait and figure out. But yeah, as I said, I can understand people that are frustrated with this game. Because there's still a lot of crashes, you know, there's a lot of weird bugs, features that do not quite work like you would want them to work. But there's still people who do amazing stuff. What I saw just lately, there was this keen, what was it, like a physics contest doing something amazing in space engineers involving physics and stuff. Somebody simulated water. It was glorious. When I understand it correctly, what he did is he used a projector that projected blue blocks, light armor blocks across a surface, and because of the projector it was half transparent and blue, which made them look like water. And then I think he mucked around with some gravity generators to really simulate like you're floating on the water. It looked glorious, you know? Of course, real water would be the best thing, but actually, I'm in a space engineers group on Facebook, and somebody posted a mod, the hover engine mod. I use that as well, actually. It's a very good mod. There have these little hover engine things you can put on, I think, small blocks and large blocks. I think it's both. And basically what they do is they kinda work like a thruster, but they work like as a very fixed thruster, so they always leave you like 1 meter above the ground, constantly. And of course, if the ground changes, the thing changes as well. It's very good. It functions very nicely. And then what I what I tend to do with these things, because for land vehicles I just use wheels. So what do I need hover engines for? I use hover engines to simulate boats. So that's just me. I sometimes do these stupid role-playing things in games, pretending things are in a certain way, even if they're not in-game, you know, if they're not physically there. I pretend ice is water in my world, and I cannot walk over it, I cannot drive over it, I have to use hover engines to cross it, you know? It's kind of cute thing, because then your whole design changes. Because I guess if you really design a hover vehicle, I guess it's gonna look like a car, just with hover things. But if you're like, go from the onset and say, it's gonna be a boat, and it hovers, it's gonna, you know, make it a totally different design approach, which I like. But yeah. Also, I've been designing a lot of tanks lately, because I like tanks. I wish there was like a threat, you know, tank threats. I think there was a mod once, but I'm pretty sure it's outdated, like most mods are, to be fair. Because nobody likes to work on mods if the game is constantly changing and fucking up their mods. Which is understandable. Sometimes I'm thinking I should get into modding, because I would really like to have like a collection of different kind of turrets and weapons that I would like to keep up to date, but I just don't find the time, because I took a look what you need to do, and I think the programming aspect of it, you know, making the definitions and stuff, that would be fine. I can do that in a relatively short time. It's the modeling that would take me ages, because even though I do some like art, sometimes it's not modeling. Sometimes I draw things, I paint sometimes, but I have never used modeling software. So it would be very, very difficult for me to actually get into that. Anyway, since I could nicely bridge that relatively boring task of welding stuff, let's think. So we said this is the engine room. And then around here, this is going to be a hallway with potential either windows or something like that to the outside. And now, let's define this here as the back, right? Which means here will be the quote-unquote engine room with a shit ton of gyroscopes and the thrusters. So let me just get some, just for the size. I want to know how big they are. I think they're like 2 on 3 blocks. No, it's more. There we go. Actually, it's 2 on 3 blocks. I was correct. All right. Or 3 on 2. Depends which orientation. So, let's say we put a thruster here and one here. Right? Now, how big is this? Oh, right. Steel plates. Steel plates! Actually, put some more into the queue. I'm afraid I'm running out of steel plates again. There we go. Assemblers! Assemble the steel plates! Ah! My finger's gonna fall off. Hardcore finger gymnastics and training and stuff. There we go. I wish there was like a statistics page which showed you how much things you have produced. Wouldn't that be fancy? I think Minecraft actually has something like that. Like, you have placed so many blocks of this kind. That would be interesting here. Because I think even after a moderately big project, you have placed a shit ton of blocks. And that's 9. That's actually perfect. I like my things to have length and width that is odd numbers, because then you have a perfect middle. You know what I mean? I don't like... There's almost never an instant where my ship is like an even number of blocks long or width. But long maybe, but the width, the wingspan, never even. Never. Because that would mean I have 2 blocks in the middle and I either had to place 2 cockpits or something, and that is just... that goes against my symmetry sense. It blocks completely, my brain locks up or something. Right, so let's give that one more row here. Oops. See, I was already playing Minecraft affected what I'm doing in this game, because I wanted to change the blocks that I placed with the mouse wheel. Silly me. All right, let me just place these like that and like that. Right? And then we'll have something like, you know, like this. Having the rest of the room filled with gyroscopes. Yeah, I think that will work. There we go. Let's also, before we start to weld, because before we start to weld, I need to figure out something else I want to talk about. So let me just think a bit more. So the next bit here, what else do we need? We need like a med bay, which is probably like combined with like a quarters kind of thing with cryopods and stuff. So actually, what I'm thinking is that this section that is coming right here, let's make it odd again. That's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 is a beautiful number. And actually, well, 20, but there is the door to the next thingy already. Right. And this is the moment where I miss symmetry and actually placing a row of blocks. Wah, wah, wah. That is survival mode for you. But yeah, I think right here I want to have 1/2 of this sector here is going to be dedicated to like quarters, which will include some cryopods, maybe like 6 or so, I don't know. A med bay and probably some oxygen tank, like oxygen storage and production facilities. And the other half is going to be filled with not reactors, assemblers and refineries. So it's basically the living and working quarters. And then of course we need to have the hydroponics section, which sadly isn't a thing. I have to say, that's one thing. Well, that's an understatement. It's one thing. It's one of the things that Empyrean really has over this game. As I said in another episode, I think Empyrean is more focused on survival experience than on building, but it factors into building as well. That's the sad thing, because of course in Empyrean you have to make food, therefore you can plant things, therefore hydroponics. It's nice. It's actually really nice to have like a super modern spaceship, and then in the middle of that spaceship there's suddenly a section with like plants and stuff like that. It really looks good. That's the biggest thing, that even though it's just technically a survival mechanic they put in, it also like spills into design, which is I really... Wait, what? Also, I'm running out of oxygen. Didn't I pick up the steel plates, or did I just move them into a weird area? Ow! Jesus! Oh, I think I just moved them into the main inventory. Oh well. Oh, almost died. Seriously, I wonder if in real space that is a problem, that You're like zipping around with a... Do they even have real jetpacks in space? I guess they kinda do. They need to move somehow in space, right? You know, if that is a problem, they're like flying around and suddenly, oh, there comes a steel door, bam! Well, obviously, they probably wouldn't be zipping around like I do here. That's the thing, right? In comparison to games, to real life is, in real life, you're walking around very slowly and carefully, and in a game, you're always running, always at top speed. Unless sprinting, well, costs you like stamina or something, then not. But other than that, there's no game that I have the option to walk or run, and I choose to walk. Outside of RPG reasons. I mean, the only MMO that I ever used the walking animation in, you know, most MMOs have that. The options that you can trigger to toggle like between running and walking. The only place I did that is in World of Warcraft when I was playing on a hardcore role-playing server. Basically, when you were together with people and role-playing, you were fucking walking. Yes, it took like a half an hour to get from Goldshire to to Stormwind. Don't care. You're talking on the way. Also, that led to some interesting situations where you're like walking and typing a chat message, and you're like walking into a tree. Oh, damn it, that looks stupid. Right. So, let me picture this. So this will be like a 3x3 hallway. Right? Yeah, okay. And then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, because 9 and 1 is 19. That one in the middle is the door, obviously. Sometimes I'm saying what I'm thinking out loud, which is not the smartest move. Also, I just totally miscalculated there. There we go. Yeah, they need to go. Beautiful. Right, so let's see. Do we have enough space? If I... Because, you know, I don't want to make my spaceship like a complete rectangular, a perfect one, like a flying coffin. I want to have like a different size of girth. That's the good word, right? Girth. I love saying that word for some reason. Girth. Of the ship. You know, like the engineering is I don't know, 10 meters wide, and the next part is only like 10 meters, so it creates this interesting shape. So I was considering making this smaller than the section before, because then it would be small, big, small. But I think I don't have enough space if I do. I mean, for the living quarters it would be well enough to have like 3 blocks, but for... Let's see. Let's see. How much refineries could we cram in here if we would decide to do it like that? And some assemblers. Right? I'm an adult. Assembler. Yeah. Alright, so let's see, that's like let's just place them down. Why the fuck not? 1. The problem is, like that, I can already not place anything next to it. Unless I don't want to be able to walk between the things. So I could get 4 refineries in here, which is nice. That's good. 4 refineries, goddammit. There we go. And actually, I technically could get like 4 assemblers in, 2 here and 2 there. You know what? I think actually that is alright. I don't want to place the assemblers yet because I'm not quite sure where the conveyor ports are gonna be. Or is that the conveyor port here? I guess it is. Yeah, that would be the conveyor port. Unless it's this way around, then it's not the conveyor port. Let me just place that real quick and figure out. Oh yeah, okay, the conveyor port. That's clever that the conveyor port is displayed differently. So that means we can place 2 assemblers right like this. Oh wait. I think I just did something stupid, didn't I? Yeah. I did something stupid just now. Or did I? Sometimes I second guess myself. Because if this is sideways, then there's no way there is a connector on top, right? Yeah, this is sideways. Then how am I gonna connect these two? I need to think about this one. Give me a minute here. You know, technically I can connect them in the front because I don't need to directly access them most of the time, right? So we can just get it like that. We basically only need to get to these things to like repair them. Yeah, and then over here there will be cryopods and all the good stuff that one wants to have on this journey. That's also a thing that I find myself doing, even if I'm playing survival as I'm doing right now. And just in general, if I'm designing ships. I'm like designing ships for more people than just myself, you know? When I'm designing ships, I'm like, how much crew do we need to crew this ship? Optimally. Of course you can basically fly it by yourself, which is what I would do in survival, obviously, because I'm playing single player, right? Even if I'm only playing single player, I will be like, yeah, okay, there's like 10 turrets on the ship, so in the command bridge there needs to be like 1 captain seat and then 10 seats for guns, and, you know? I just want to make it like realistic, even though it makes no freaking sense to have it that way, because yeah, there's no other people manning these cannons. It would be awesome if you could create, that sounds dumb, create NPCs that could like man your turrets. But yeah, we got AI turrets, so no manning turrets, I guess. Because that would make, you know, that would make Space Engineers a lot livelier. You know, like, let's say Conan Exiles, where you have slaves that you can put on, like, things to occupy them. You can put, like, archers on towers. You can put, like, captured craftsmen on different crafting stations, stuff like that. You know, if you had this in here, you could put, like, gunner troops or gunner sergeants, whatever these people are called, gunnery sergeants on the gun turret things. God, I'm so good with words today. It's amazing. You would think I was doing this since like 4 years or something. Jeez. You could put these people on the gun controls. You could put like one as a captain in the captain seat, like a navigator. All these different. You know how amazing this would. It would just like suddenly populate your worlds, even if they didn't do much. But yeah, it's, as I said, this is more focused on creating awesome ships and not surviving and interacting with the world. Sadly, if I could, I would just take Empyrean and Space Engineers and mush them together to this awesome, delicious space game that everybody would want to play. But yeah, alas, I cannot do that. Right. Let me just... Oh, right. I think we have actually recorded since quite a while. I'm trying to keep these a bit shorter than normal. You know, not these like 1 hour epics. Because I understand watching things for 1 hour is quite a bunch of time you're wasting. Which is incidentally what I do on YouTube. Watching like 5-hour videos on a stupid topic. How did ancient samurais fight? 5-hour documentation. Yes, I'm gonna watch that, of course. Right. So we designed that, so next time we're gonna weld all this, which means I have to, like, think about something to talk about, because I don't want to... I know in the old Space Engineers videos I'd put, like, video montage. I find that boring. So if I have something to talk about, I will, but otherwise I will resort to that. Anyways, time for the thumbnail. There we go. Oh, that's beautiful. One thing I have to say, sometimes Space Engineers creates quite beautiful, like, scenery, you know, like that. That's something I have to give to this game. It's very good at creating good scenes. Right, there we go. Good, right? Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.